Looking at everything that makes up and has made up my life and taking it apart, there are a lot of things that influence my day-to-day behaviour and make me who I am today. Here is the entire thing, which I'll go through in more detail in certain parts. But if you want to see the whole thing, you can pause the video now and do that. First up is Jesus. I'm a Christian, and to me Jesus is very important. This is a major influence on my life and pretty much defines what I make my life about. It is also the cause of a pretty big part of my life, which is helping others rather than focusing on myself. Another important part of my life is my girlfriend Jess. She's my constant companion and I want to be able to support and care for her always. She also influences my behaviour, as I've noticed I've picked up several of her mannerisms. My work is another influencing part of my life. I work in an independent grocery store, and this gives me lots of access to other people and to connect with them as I work from behind the counter. It also trains my patience, as often there is a lot of standing around not doing much. These are some of the major things in my life that it is broken down into. Now we'll look at some of my heroes and the qualities that they have that I admire in them. First, of course, is Jesus. Some of the qualities I admire about Jesus is how loving and generous he is. Everyone matters to him and he is completely selfless. Next up is my girlfriend Jess. As well as all the qualities that I just generally love about her, she is kind and caring and she always wants to help people. Another hero is my pet bird Crackers. Now, you might be bemused by this, but he also has a lot of qualities that are very obvious in his behaviour. Crackers can be quite sneaky at times, and I also see this in myself. He has a great sense of humour and knows how to get a laugh. He is also incredibly persistent. My next hero is an EDM artist, Code Pandorum. Code Pandorum makes a style of music called orchestral deathstep, and his style is always changing and moulding, showing he isn't afraid of change. He is also a leader, as he was one of the first in the deathstep genre, which now many others have joined in on. He is also independent and doesn't follow in others' footsteps. My final hero would be Nicholas Angel from the film Hot Fuzz. Nicholas follows his values, is always professional, and is courageous. Now, due to all this breaking apart and looking at my heroes, I can reconstruct my life based on my community. There are three main elements in my reconstructed life. Since helping others was a recurring theme in the breakdown, having the opportunity to help others and support them is a major point. Next up, doing something creative in the area that I love, and lastly, being able to connect with those around me, both in my field, my private life, and everyone in the community. I've expressed this reconstructed life in the form of a short story. Harold was feeling down. There was nobody around, not even one person. Harold just felt empty. Harold had tried many things to ease the emptiness he felt. First off, he had tried to seek thrills and do adventurous things, but they hadn't helped. Next up, he had considered delving into the world of entertainment at his fingertips in the digital world. Alas, this led nowhere for Harold. At the end, he still had that empty feeling inside. Lastly, Harold tried to create something. He pieced together a marvellous creation that was perfect in every way, and whilst Harold felt awe in his beautiful creation, he still had that horrible, cold, empty feeling. Harold reflected on everything that he had done. He thought, and then he realised there had been moments during those experiences when the emptiness was missing, and he hadn't even realised it. He pictured these times, thinking with all his might about them. Then it struck him. These moments were when he was interacting with others that the emptiness was not there. While he was seeking thrills, it was those that he did them with that was truly fulfilling, rather than the actual activities. While he was in the world of digital media, it wasn't the entertainment that he consumed that made the emptiness go away, but the connections with the people he made through it. Lastly, he looked at his creation. Then he realised the creation hadn't in any way filled the hole inside him. Harold took a moment to reflect on this, when all of a sudden, Harold leapt up in shock. He had it! A cure to the emptiness inside him. It wasn't the actions he undertook that made him happy, it was the connections he made, and the people he had talked to. That was the cure. Harold looked to his creation, and in an instant he had it all packed and ready to go. He took it out into the middle of the town square, and called all the people to him. The eager faces were a delight to Harold as he whipped off the packaging to reveal his creation. A cheer greeted him as the crowd took in the awe and wonder of his creation, and Harold spent the rest of the day talking to everyone who would come along, and Harold knew he would never feel the emptiness again. And of course, Harold represents myself. If I could create my own media organisation, it would be a way of marketing Australian films to audiences and fans without just using plain advertising, but creating a true connection with the public and communities. Australian films often struggle to make much in the box office as they have next to nothing in the way of marketing. This often means that independent filmmakers who have made a wonderful film struggle, as very few people go to see their films as nobody really knows about it. This leads to further problems such as filmmakers not being able to make another film due to lack of funds and all their beautiful ideas not being shared. The digital media outlet I would create campaigns that would include the public and make them feel part of the film, creating activities for them to do that would excite them for the film and encourage them to share it with their friends and family. These campaigns would be like Coldplay's campaign, where they hid lyrics from songs for their upcoming album in libraries in 9 different countries. Fans then engaged in a worldwide scavenger hunt. This campaign helped connect Coldplay to their fans in a huge way, and also connected with those that weren't fans previous. The media organisation I would create campaigns like this to connect Australian film creators to their fans and also the public and those that would be interested in the film. This would help both Australian filmmakers and also help the public as they connect with these films. To connect with the film agencies and creators, we could use digital media such as messages, emails, and other instant messaging services to organise a meet-up with them to discuss the campaign that would be relevant to the film and also connect with the public. If a physical meet-up is not possible, Skype or Discord could be used to communicate with each other instead. It could also be used to communicate about how the campaign is progressing and any tweaks or changes required for more convenience, as a physical meetup requires time, travel, and effort. Finally, large social media networks such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube could be used to communicate with the public and to get the campaigns in motion and keep it continued, with more clues, nudges, and things to keep the public excited. Also, digital media can be a major way the organisation is run. Because of digital media, there is no need to have a building where all the workers come to each day, and it can be run from everyone's home, and communication can be made through digital media such as Skype and file sharing sites like Google Docs or Google Drive. This means that the designers of each of these marketing campaigns can be spread out across Australia and help them tailor the campaigns to the communities nearby them. This would also reduce costs, as there will not be any bill paying for the building or any cost for purchasing a building in the first place. So, for example, an Australian adventure film that takes part in many places across Australia. A campaign could be developed to involve Australians going to a setting that will take place in part of the film to complete a task there that is loosely related to the film. This would make a connection between Australians and the film coming up, so when they go see the film, they can recognise the places they have been and it will resound in them. This will connect them greater to the film and be more likely to tell their friends and family about it, and even could persuade them to go to the film themselves. This would be a great way to support Australian filmmakers and help them gain more funds which they can channel back into further films. So the organisation may take several years to build up. First off, other creative marketers would need to be found throughout Australia to build the people who will work on these projects. Secondly, our reputation would also have to be built up, as filmmakers would rarely employ the services of an inexperienced team. So starting small with local products and then moving upwards to bigger things until we're able to get into Australian film marketing. This could take several hard years, but the goal will be worth it in the end. A crowdfunding website like Kickstarter could be handy a way to gain funds to start the business. Once we have got set up and are earning an income for ourselves, we could stop relying on these funds and use the money we have earned. Lastly, here is my 30-second elevator pitch. My organisation will have 2 major purposes, those being helping the Australian film industry and the makers of Australian films, as well as making the public more engaged with Australian film. We'll do this by making campaigns for Australian filmmakers that will involve and engage the public, making them aware and excited for the upcoming film, thus bringing further revenue for the filmmakers. This will help them create more Australian films, strengthening the Australian film industry and also helping them delve into the international market even better, making Australian films great again. Thank you for listening and watching.